Hello boys and girls, this is Fog and welcome to my new channel, Fog's Ride. So, some of you may know me from my other channel, Fog and my Minecraft Let's Play, Fog's World. Well, for this channel I thought I'd do something a little different. And what I'm going to do is, as some of you may know, I ride a motorcycle. This is my daily commuter vehicle that I'm on. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. But for this channel, what I thought I would do is I would go out and make some videos highlighting some of the gorgeous places there are to ride here in the Pacific Northwest where I live. I live in the Seattle area. More specifically, I live in Redmond, Washington, home of Microsoft. And there are a lot of really gorgeous places around here to ride. So, you know, just for fun, I thought I'd do a little something in meat space for a while instead of doing something in cyberspace. Every now and then I like to get out and ride around it. Ooh, watch what you're doing, lady. Every now and then I like to get out and ride around this beautiful place that I call home. And there are some gorgeous places around here. So I thought I'd take you along for the ride and introduce you to some of these beautiful places. Maybe you ride yourself and are looking for a cool place to ride. And yeah, maybe not. Maybe you just want to have some fun. A little hazy today. Mount Rainier is out that way, but we can't see it because the haze is so thick at the moment, which is a shame. Alright, well today's ride we're going to do the Mercer Island Loop. We are on Mercer Island right now. Mercer Island has a population of just shy of about 25,000 people, which makes it the single most populated island in a lake in the United States. A little bit of trivia for you. And we're going to ride around it today. We are on East Mercer Way. This road loops all the way around the island. So Mercer Island, like I said, is home to just shy of about 25,000 people. This is some of the most wealthy real estate in the greater Seattle area. There are a lot of very expensive homes here. Probably the most famous resident of Mercer Island would be Paul Allen, co-founder of Microsoft and Adobe. And yeah, he lives on the island here somewhere. I don't know exactly where, nor do I particularly care, but gives you an idea of the kind of people that are living here. There are some more regular folks living here as well, but it is pretty expensive real estate. I do not live here. I do, however, work relatively close by, which makes this a really good midday getaway. Right now I've managed to sneak out of work in the morning. We're going to take this brief ride, and I'll be back at work before they even know I'm gone, because it's that easy to get to. So Mercer Island is located it's located on Lake Washington between Bellevue and Seattle. It was settled in the late 19th century. I believe around 1860 or 1870 is when the Mercer brothers first started coming to the island. By the very late 19th century, it had a small population of settlers, and it also had a pretty neat Victorian-style hotel that was built in the late 1890s, I think, built by a guy named Calkins, I think. I think it was the Calkins Hotel. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But first, a little bit about myself. So, if you're new to me and don't know who I am, I have a YouTube channel called FoG, HFoG. The H is silent. And by the way, FoG stands for House Full of Games, which is the internet board game store site that I've been running for probably about 10 years. That site is kind of winding down. I haven't really done much with the store in a very long time because my other jobs and my other interests have taken me elsewhere. But it does still exist, and I keep it around. So, you know, if you're interested in some older board games, because I haven't restocked in a while, feel free to go there. More importantly, House Full of Games is also the name of the that I have released some of my iOS software under. I write iOS software in my spare time. I've written several games in the several applications, not just games, but several games and applications in the iOS App Store. Probably the most impressive of those is a card game called Teach You. I didn't design the card game, but I did write the iOS version of it. And quite frankly, I think it plays a very good game of Teach You. So you might want to check it out if you like card games and have an iPhone or some other iOS device. Anyway, my other channel, I typically post Minecraft videos because it's just one of the fun, geekier things that I do. Took that one a little wide there. Talking and driving, probably not the safest thing. What a gorgeous place this is, though. Look at these trees. It's just beautiful. We have a beautiful morning this morning. 66 degrees outside. Nearly clear skies. Just a few wispy clouds in the air. The only problem is because of the haze, you can't see Mount Rainier, which is too bad. But, oh well. The ride is still gorgeous anyway. So anyway, that's who I am. In this channel, you know, I'm not going to commit to a regular update schedule for this channel. I just thought that it'd be kind of fun to periodically post things that I do in Meat Space here. Most likely, they'll be motorcycle rides. One of my other hobbies, obviously, is motorcycle riding. I ride this bike to work every day, except when there is ice on the ground, which in the Seattle area is very rare. So even in the rain, even in the wind, even in the cold, I will ride this to work, and love it, love it. Lets me ride in the diamond lane, and it gets me to work quick, and doesn't cost me a whole lot of money to do it, and it is a heck of a lot more fun than driving a car. So, so let me tell you a little bit about the equipment that I'm using, because I know people are going to ask. First of all, I'm riding on a Kawasaki Concours. That's Kawasaki's largest bike. It is a sport touring bike. This is the kind of bike that is made to just eat up the miles on the highway, and because it's got kind of a sporty makeup, it does it in a heck of a lot of style and fun. It is just a real hoot to ride. I bought this bike used. I bought this bike brand new, but it was 2 years old when I bought it. It had been sitting in the lot, and it had 0 miles when I bought it. So it's now got just short of 14,000 miles, all of which I have put on myself. And I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's just an awesome bike. It is just a little under 1,400 cc's, and that is a pile of power. It goes like stink. It's tons of fun. It's built on the same chassis as Kawasaki's largest Ninja, the ZX14, and it is extremely fast. It's been detuned a bit from the ZX14, so that it's more suitable for highway travel, and it's a little bit easier to manage than the high-end Ninja is. The high-end Ninja is meant to be more like a sport bike. This is meant to be a touring bike. But yeah, it's a great platform. I love this bike. Normally it comes with hard cases. I usually keep the hard cases off because I don't really need them on my daily commute. And the bike looks better without the hard cases on anyway. But, you know, having a couple of hard cases that are big enough to hold a full-face helmet is super handy when you're taking a trip. I also have a top case that I bought for it that I do keep on regularly. Maybe you can catch a glimpse of that in the mirror there. But that hard case is big enough to store my helmet and my jacket and other things while I'm at work, so that I don't have to bring them in. I can just leave them on the bike. And of course, it's a locking case and all that. Anyway, it's a great bike. Lots of fun, very fast. I am recording the video. Workers. Oh, that's no fun. I'm recording this video using a Hero Pro, what is it? GoPro Hero session. Sorry. And that is GoPro's very latest camera, and it's a pretty cool camera. one of the reasons that I really like it is the form factor is fantastic. It is a 1.5-inch cube, and as you can tell, it takes pretty darn good video. Now, some of you who are familiar with GoPro's line might be doing a little bit of a facepalm here and going, well, why did you buy the Session when you can get the Hero 4 Silver for exactly the same price? And the Hero 4 Silver has better video modes and a lot of extra, has an exchangeable battery and stuff like that. And all those things are true. The Silver is a great camera, and I almost went with that. I decided to go to this one for a couple of reasons, principally the form factor. I really wanted the smaller form factor so that I could mount it pretty much anywhere I want. For instance, right now it's mounted right on the front of my helmet, right below the visor. And it's so small that I really don't even notice it. Whereas with the other GoPros, they require a mounting case. They're not waterproof without a case. The Session is waterproof down to 10 meters without a case. So it means that I don't need to put it inside a case if I ride in the rain. And it means I don't need to put it in a case to mount it. So, yeah, it's a trade-off. The other big issue is another big issue is the lack of video settings. But quite frankly, I don't particularly care because the video setting that I'm using right now, 1080p, is pretty much what I'm going to want to record all the time in anyway. So for my use, this did what I wanted it to do, and I didn't need the other features of the other camera, and the form factor kind of outweighed it. The last big thing that this doesn't have is it doesn't have an exchangeable battery. The battery is built in. It does last 2 hours easy of continuous filming, which is great, but once it's gone, you got to recharge. Now, because of the way the camera works, whenever you start and stop filming, it conserves the battery in between. So it actually lasts a good long time. It'll usually go all day for me, given the way I'm filming. So it's not really a big deal. I don't mind charging it up at the end of the day. It's really not a problem for me. So given my usage pattern, I figured that while it does have some negatives compared to the Silver, it works out for me. So I liked it. That's Seattle off to the east there. We've now curled around the bottom of the island. So let's talk about what we're going to do here. We're riding the Mercer Island Loop, which is a loop around the island. And one of the things that I want to do with these videos is I want to highlight different rides around the Puget Sound, because this is just a gorgeous place to be. The weather is beautiful this time of year. It's summer here, and summers in the Northwest just cannot be beat. They really can't be beat. There's nowhere better to be in the summer than in the Pacific Northwest. That said, our winters are a little cold and drizzly, but they're not bad. At least we don't get tons of snow. So, where was I going with that? I had somewhere I was going with that. So yeah, the Mercer Island Loop is a loop around here. If you look below, I'll probably give a link to a map in case you want to ride this ride yourself. But it's pretty easy to find. Mercer Island, you're either going on I-90 from Seattle east, or you're going on I-90 from Bellevue west, and you get off at the easternmost Mercer Island exit, and I'm riding clockwise around the island. It's that simple. I was talking about equipment. So I'm using a Hero Session 4, GoPro Hero 4 Session to record the video. And the audio is being recorded using a Bluetooth headset. I have a Sena Bluetooth headset in my helmet, and I have linked it to my iPhone, and I'm recording on an app on my iPhone that will let me record directly from the Bluetooth microphone in my headset. So that way I get a separate audio track, and I can do fun little mixing tricks like, move my commentary relative to the video if I need to, speed up the video without messing up the commentary, little things like that. So yeah, so far I think it works pretty well. Hopefully you guys like the quality. I know the audio quality here isn't quite as good as it would be in my studio at home on my nice professional quality mic, but it's pretty good. It's good enough for what I want here. Like I said, the update schedule on this channel is probably going to be pretty erratic. I'm just going to post things whenever I feel like it. Hopefully you'll subscribe and enjoy what you saw here and want to come back for more, because I'll be posting some more over this summer as the summer winds down. Probably not going to see a whole lot of activity on this channel during the winter, just because it rains a lot here and our summer is winding down. We've maybe got we're lucky if we have another month of summer, and after that we're going to be heavily into the rains, into our rainy season. So let's talk a little bit more about Mercer Island. Mercer Island remained an island until 1929, I believe, when they built the first bridge to Mercer Island from Bellevue. That was the short bridge that I was on at the very beginning of this video. And it is a pretty short little bridge. It now makes up part of I-90. It wasn't until 1940 that they built the floating bridge to Seattle, which is off to our right here. We should be, or sorry, off to our left here. We should be passing that pretty soon. Anyway, can't see it yet, but we'll get to it. That floating bridge is the second longest floating bridge in, I believe, in the world. But anyway, it's a pretty long floating bridge, and it provides access to Mercer Island from Seattle. And again, it makes up part of I-90, the transcontinental freeway, the northern transcontinental freeway here in the United States. Runs through pretty much all the northern states. It runs east-west. This is the westernmost end of I-90, of course. It ends at Seattle. So until then, Mercer Island was only reachable by a steamship. There was a steam ferry that docked on the north end of the island, and that is where the initial settlement was. It was initially called East Seattle, and it boasted, you know, it was a typical early settlement with, you know, a school and a church and all that stuff. But most famously, it had that hotel, the Calkins Hotel, which was a beautiful Victorian-style hotel built in the 1890s. That hotel has an interesting checkered history. It was built by a guy named Calkins, who was a land speculator here in the Seattle area back at the end of the 19th century and the early 20th century. He invested a lot in land here on Mercer Island, and it made him a rich guy. And he used that money to build that hotel, among other things. There was a panic, though, at around the turn of the century that erased much of his money, and the hotel was mortgaged. And eventually the hotel was closed down, and it was reopened as first, I believe it was first a boys' school and then a sanitarium. It was a school for troubled boys for a while. And that didn't go too well with the neighbors, because they rather objected to to having this large building with boys that were literally chained to the fence as punishment for misdeeds. That didn't go over too well. So that boys' school didn't last very long. Then it was a sanitarium, and eventually the sanitarium closed down. That, I believe, was pretty short-lived as well. That sanitarium was mainly here as an addiction recovery facility, helping people get off of addictive drugs and using all sorts of crazy, kooky, turn-of-the-century cures that were of dubious efficacy. So when the sanitarium closed down, it was eventually reopened as a hotel once again. Now, as a hotel, it was considered to be one of the really nicer places in Seattle. It was quite a jewel. And in fact, one of the U.S. presidents, I can't remember which one, you can look it up on Wikipedia, one of the U.S. presidents came out here and stayed at that hotel, so that got it a little bit of notoriety as well. Anyway, when it was opened the second time as a hotel, the very early 20th century, we're talking about, you know, before 1910, it eventually suffered quite a nasty fate. The story goes that a young Japanese boy who was working as a laborer at the hotel got upset with the way he was treated by someone, and what people think happened is he took some oily rags and stuffed them up the chimney. I think it was in the kitchen, but it might have been in the lobby. Anyway, he stuffed it up one of the chimneys in the hotel, thinking that it would cause smoke to back up and flood the hotel with smoke, which obviously would, upset people and cause it'd be a great prank. It'd be loads of laughs, right? So that's what he was doing. Unfortunately, what really happened was the oily rags caught fire and set the hotel on fire. The locals managed to evacuate the hotel of all of its guests and most of their possessions, but they were not able to save the hotel, and the hotel was completely gutted by the fire. I believe this was in 1909. So the hotel sat here as a ruin for a number of years since then before it was finally razed. The hotel no longer exists. The area was flattened and the land was repurposed and used for something else. I have no idea. Excuse me. I imagine by now there's a house on it or something. Who knows? I don't even know exactly where the land was, except that I know that it was in the northwest corner of the island, which is kind of the direction that we're headed to now. So anyway, my understanding is every Halloween they run ghost tours on the island, and one of the more famous stories is the story about the hotel and how it burned down. Now, apparently that story that I just told is really not 100% confirmed, but anyway, that's the way I heard it. My Garmin's telling me to turn here, but I don't want to turn here. I want to go straight because I want to go by the park. Go. Okay, don't go. He couldn't make up his mind. It was his turn, but he didn't want to go. Yeah, we're going to go this way. So that over there is I-90. That's the I-90 bridge that we just passed. The freeway was underneath the road there. It runs through a tunnel under the road. And we're going to ride through this lovely park here. That's a beautiful view of Seattle over there, and we've got this nice little park here. So anyway, we're coming to the end of the ride. We're looping around. This area we're coming into now is where old East Seattle was. This area was eventually incorporated, and all of Mercer Island is now its own city. That happened, I believe, in the 60s. 1960s is when it was incorporated fully. Until then, it was actually two cities, or two towns anyway. There was East Seattle, and there was Mercer Island. And they merged to form the Mercer Island municipality that we have today. But like I said, we're coming to the end of the ride today. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to see more, let me know. If there's a place in the Northwest that you'd like to see me feature on this channel, please let me know. I have a lot of favorite places that I like to ride around here, and over the next little while, you'll get to see them. But I'm always looking for a new cool place to ride. One of the things that I like to do most on the weekends is, go get out and ride somewhere and get to explore this beautiful Northwest territory. There's so much gorgeous country here. There's places in the Cascades and at Mount Rainier, and just lots of beautiful, beautiful country here. It's a lovely place, particularly in the summer. That I believe to be a cop. Yes, it is. They don't do a very good job of marking those guys because they don't want you to know that they're a policeman. Kind of sneaky. Alright, well, we're nearing the end of the loop here. Hopefully you liked what you saw, and hopefully you'll be back. Until next time, thanks for watching, and hopefully you'll feel like subscribing, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.